Okay, YouTube stream's back. Crocker player of the game, he should get player of the series too. Can get a bin card. Cool. I actually have a photo card of bin if you want it. It's not like a trading card, it's a photo card. I got it at the G2 watch parties and stuff. And he gets the player of the match as well. No surprise, no surprise. That guy was really, really, really good today. Visually, I really need to watch these games. I really need to watch these games. Okay, put on some adverts and we'll wait for the next series.
对面打不了，
我这3线好了
啊，没好20秒
，OK，
跟他一样，跟他一样，跟他一样。嗯，
啊，搬去。好，
一滴，
啊，哎，死了，
看我，开一滴，开，
赢住了，
这把我杀了，
没事，
变，
看回，看回，哦，
나이스.
다先看。얘만 간다. 나 못 가. 레벨이야.
빼. 打破。利用3线吧，利用3线。
他两级的，没事。留了，没闪，留了，辅助了。看留了，我3级打。
我레벨이야.
猴子。AD 没闪，AD没闪。
我不有。来，兄弟，
干嘛呢，兄弟？
Okay, folks, I'm gonna go take a break real quick. Hey, Vortex, how's it going? Thanks for the follow, appreciate you. Oh, I return, chat. Oh, I return. Hello, Void. Void XN. Oh. Oh, you're very. Thank you, Ludus. By the way, I see you over in TikTok. Thank you very much for that very lovely statement. Much love, my guy. I don't know whether he's still in here, but throw a bit of a love that way as well. Oh. WE versus EDG should be a fun one. We come back. Hello, hello, hello. I'll turn the camera on. Say hello. Glad to have you in here. There's WE. Just spent 104 euros in LPL trading cards. Oh my god, really? My go. Oh, hey, Katari. Leave my go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play. Should be a good time. Should be a very good time. Hopefully, anyway. Thank you, Sedaruzi, for the follow. Appreciate you coming on in. Leave my go. Should be a fun one to watch. There's that Shy skin on, I believe it's on Aatrox, which would make sense considering that's the one where you got that very EU distressing play not so long ago. You don't slide in here a bit better. There we go. Gotcha. Turn that around. Where am I trapped on here? Whoa, that's a bit unfortunate. There we go. Fantastic. Arm kept sliding around. There's WE. So you can see the players a bit better. Cube in there, of course. Monkey Carrots. The top side's still the same. About Yao Yao are interesting ones to track. See whether they can be an upgrade after a middling end to last year. They were almost great. Of course, they've lost Taeyun and Vampire, who both good and bad depending on what champions and game state they were in. Vampire was over-engaged. Taeyun off his comforts was a bit rough. About, of course, was on Genji's Academy. It's a fairly decent academy coming from. Of course, Yao Yao over on Thunder Talks Academy League as well. So bringing up a couple of LDL specialty picks. Hello, Edward Gaming Enjoyer. Glad to have you in here. About right, though. I miss Abel, though. Yeah, he was a bit of a psychopath. But yes, this is the fun one. Of course, Leave coming into the roster. Back to EDG, the organization where he got his start. Looking to ensure he can perhaps have a bit of a showing of it. Angel will be a big one to keep an eye on as well. Veteran mid laner at this point, looking to lead the team to success. Palakia, one of those younger kids as well, who is a rookie as of partway through last year. came over from NIP, did leave, where it was a weird old time for him. He was genuinely excellent for NIP, but NIP in general really just fell apart as the year went on. Even as early as winter playoffs, it all kind of started falling apart for them. Can we get a quick 2-0, please? Yeah, don't blame me. Maybe. Gotta hope. And here are EDG. As we talk about ZDZ, Xiaohao, Angel, Leave, Palkia. Leave and Palkia, I think, is the lane that a lot of people are going to be really excited about. I think Angel in his current meta as well could be a lot of fun. Once upon a time, one of the real great mid laners of the LPL has kind of fallen towards the middle of the pack over the last year or two. And a little ways away from some of those halcyon days of Worlds runs and the like. There is coach for EDG. Huh. Yeah. Been an interesting one. Top and jungle duo. ZDZ and Xiaohao have played for a fairly significant amount of time at this point. Is this number of games played versus their career? Flandre and SFM, yes it will be. So 369 and Kanavi were together for a very, very, very long time. Across JDG and then to Top Esports and the rest of it's finally broken apart, that duo. But Xiaohao and ZDZ, I don't think I'd quite realised how long they've been playing together. That's a fairly significant amount of time in terms of games they have played together and percentage of games they've played as a duo. Fun little stuff there. Posture check, yes boss, set up properly, there we go. A little ways away from the microphone, but that's okay. They were together on AL for a while as well. Very true. Forgot about that. Xiaohao, ZDZ, AL duo as well. That's very, very true. Of course, moved away, and there was that whole AL big shifting of the guard.
Hello， 各位好，欢迎来到赛前采访，我是泱泱。我们邀请到的是 CNWE 的 Monkey 选手，欢迎，先跟大家打个招呼吧。
Hello， 大家好，我是西安曲江 WE 的打野选手 Monkey。
那 WE 也是在今天迎来了新赛段的首场比赛，全新的赛季，全新的征程。今年 Monkey 作为队长，对于 CNWE 有什么样的期待呢？
就希望队伍越打越好吧，然后赢下每一场比赛。
Was a real superstar for this team.
赢下每一场比赛的话，要做好哪些方面？
就是沟通方面吧，然后沟通做得好一点，然后配合做得也好一点。
沟通配合包括纪律性非常的重要，那就期待你们的精彩表现，我们赛场见。Hello， 各位好，欢迎来到赛前采访，我是泱泱。我们邀请到的是 EDG 的小浩，欢迎，先跟大家打个招呼吧。
大家好，我是 EDG 的打野小浩。
欢迎，终于是迎来了 EDG 新赛段、新赛季的首场比赛啊！那这个版本呢，峡谷其实也发生了非常多的变化嘛。小浩自己觉得影响比较大的是哪个部分？
可能就是2打3的移除吧，然后线上多了一些任务的加成，所以说对于对线很关键。
那来到了全新的赛段，你也是作为团队当中的队长，
你希望自己在团队
当中承担什么样的角色？
就是可以多帮助他们吧，然后取得好成绩。
大家本赛段的目标是什么？
打好每一场比赛，一场比一场更厉害。
好的，那就期待 EDG 的精彩表现，我们赛场见。
Back to our caster desk, host desk. I think actually is this the casters and host? I don't know whether they do a split host cast thing for regular season or not in the LPL. Of course, they've got host over here doing a little bit of additional video work there, doing some cute little additional bits. It's gonna be a clean 2-0. I can hear the T1 trucks in the distance already. Oh boy. Oh boy. they come. About Yao Yao. Call-ups from Challenger Series around Eastern regions. Parkia, I think, is a very exciting player to keep our eyes on. Here come the lights, the cameras. We're in Xi'an, of course, WE's home
让我
arena.
们有请 Edward Gaming 西安 Team WE。
Turn the camera off again briefly so we can see all the players properly. Should be into draft shortly.
欢迎来到西安曲江电竞中心 LPL 第一赛段组内赛第1周第3日的比赛，西安 WE 对阵 EDG 即将开始。LPL 不畏竞巅峰。
Nearly onto the game. Should be very short to deal with. There's all our people sat down. Nearly there. Parkia on screen there, I believe. Actually, no, sorry, that was Angel. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Quick look again at some of our additional players. Nearly onto the into picks and bounce. There's a slight delay there, which is a bit unfortunate, but it happens. That looks like it. There we go. Welcome to draft, folks, for Series 2. A little bit of a delay getting on in, but that is more than fine. Jason Malphite off the table. Nico, Wukong, Felios, all off the table by WE. Wanted to make sure that Leave in particular doesn't get a hold of that very potent AD carry that he is a bit of a specialist on. Looking like it's more of a jungle focus here from EDG. The Malphite primarily seen there these days. The Rumble as a final takeaway from Cube, who does like that as his potential carry option. He's more of a tank side of the plays. Varus was left open. Varus gets locked in. I feel like that's often been the trade. Are we going to see something like a Nymaera into this? Misfortune into this? It's often been a choice option. Wukong Gong perhaps leaves things like the Kiana if you want to do that from Xiao Hao, though I don't know whether he's that much of a specialist on that one. The other option, of course, would be that Orianna, which does make a lot of sense, was left up. And Bessa, very strong. Flex option, ZDZ certainly plays it. Xiao Hao could take it into the jungle. Both have been seen, particularly the jungle variant right now. Jarvan, then locked in to go alongside that Varus. Add in the Akali and your skirmishing power, your ability to take a pick and blow them up from that initial bit of CC, very, very high here. Karras does like an Akali. In fact, he is a bit of an Akali specialist, honestly. One of his real bright sparks for WE last year. See if we can pull that off again here against EDG. What's Angel thinking about locking in for his team? Of course, he'll be playing the Orianna. Probably want to leave the jungle flex as an option here. But then again, you sort of see some of what you're up against. You may want to support here. Rel, good ball carrier. Still leaves you that opportunity to give Leave something a bit spicier in the AD carry role, as he does like to have one or two more unusual champions up in his sleeve. But Nymaera, very, very high priority, very lane dominant champion to try and fight fire with fire in that bot side does also make some sense. Probably does mean things like the Rel will likely get banned away here. Vesa being a flex means that banning out jungle on top, little harder to do, whereas the support pool can very much be targeted. But that's true on both sides. Varus can look to have something like the Renata or the Lulu if you want to go that route here for Yao Yao. Could also still consider a few other routes. Zahen taken away. Yeah, with the Malphite band. You want to get rid of that very potent top laner. Ooh, we're getting hit with the Huya ads. Love it. 1 second. Come on. There we go. Cool. What are we banning here, WE? Gotta pick something. Lulu, ban away instead from the Nymaera. Again, very lane dominant. We've seen that already a couple times today, actually. And, quite strong as a pairing. Yeah, we're back. Indeed, we are. Thanks for coming back and tuning on in. Curse you, YouTube strikes. Last ban for WE will be Alistair from EDG. One of those potential spots. Yao does like an Alistair. It's a good pairing with things like the Jarvan. Would be a decent option to set up some CC gens with Varus as well. Rel, I think, might be a worthy ban against Palkia here, who does love that champion. Be a great ball carrier. Bad with the Nymaera to set up big all-ins. Could have a bit of a rough time into some Varus matchups, but still, I think the damage would have been more than annoying enough to be worthy of all of those things. There we go. Turn the camera back on. Hello, TikTok. Nautilus, then, perhaps, as a next best thing. Good pairing with the Varus as well, so would be a good takeaway, I think. Gives you a ball carrier, would be good pick potential. You are going to have to lock at least something here. Cassante blind, take away from Cube as well. Is Sion still up? It might just be a Sion then for Cube. Although Cube also is a bit of enjoyer of things like the Udyr. Could look for that. Bard. Oh yeah, I forgot Yao Yao was a bit of a Bard enjoyer. Very lane dominant. Hovers of all these things would be just fine. I think the Sion would make sense here into the Cassante, as would an Udyr if you want to go for that kind of look at me and my specialist pick option. Deciding against some of those tankier options, at least currently. It's just a hover. We'll wait until it's actually locked in, but the Renekton is indeed solidified as the top lane option. Fair enough early matchup into Cassante. You can build the Black Cleaver and things as well. Lane priority always does feel pretty good. Rakan would be good follow-up with Akali and Jarvan. Not bad with the Renekton either. So that gives you another engage option. A little low on straight-up DPS here. If the Akali doesn't get ahead, your burst is very strong with Renekton Akali, even the Jarvan, of course. Your consistent DPS, a little lower. Your skirmishing power, mid-game power, very, very strong, though, nonetheless. On the other side, though, maybe it's just okay. We've seen the comp. Nautilus is more than fine here. Poppy, one of those near perma bands, actually, has slipped on through. Palkia does enjoy it. I'm seeing a lot of dash champions here. Rakan, Akali, Renekton. I'm not going to have the most amount of fun with that. I think also the Jarvan Cataclysm can get kind of denied, potentially, by that steadfast presence. Decent ball carrier. I think that Poppy is potentially very potent here and will get locked in. We'll be going towards the support role unless there's some real weird shenanigans happening, but if that was to be the case, I'd get a little more concerned. Morning, Amber. Good to see you. Well, there's our draft. So, let's break this down just a little bit more. WE get themselves very good skirmish comp. Very good skirmish comp. Kali, Varus, Jarvan, all looking for that pick and assassination on a key target. The Nymaera, the Orianna, potentially the Ambessa. On the other side, big team fight comp. Frontline, dash denies, and that ability to throw the shockwave into Ambessa combo and try and play out those extended fights. counter engage is not bad either. But I think if we do get towards longer team fights, you can favor EDG there. WE, the early skirmishes. Early lane priority probably as well, I think. Although the Akali will have a bit of a tougher time there. Actually, probably I take that back somewhat. Welcome back. Draft's just completed.
Cool. Sorry about that. Was just dealing with the various nature of YouTube being YouTube. All good. We're back in. I guess I'll have to figure out the draft. I know you've got a thing at 1 o'clock.
I do. I will be able to do at least half the game. Hopefully, all of it.
Don't stay too much on our behalf,
That's
Sam.
absolutely
we appreciate
fine.
the work you're going. Basically, Sam's got a podcast to be on. We'll go watch that when that comes out as well.
Indeed.
And yeah, thank you for your work today, Sam. Let's get into that game then, shall we?
Indeed. Gyos first, draft breakdown after.
Oh, the Silk Road. Oh, I like telling this story. The Silk Road of Xi'ans. The famous Silk Road starts here. It's one of my favorite little tidbits, that.
Love the acoustics in this arena as well.
It's
Get
really
a nice echo.
I have to say, NIP's arena in Shenzhen has really good acoustics too. It does make you, it makes the crowd seem so close to you, but also very, very large.
Yes, so draft, high priority on the Varus was first picked, was responded to with the Orianna, obviously. And so we've ended up with Leave getting his hands on Nymaera, and a very good team fight come from EDG, skirmishing a little heavier from WE.
Very surprised. I just think if Orianna's up, you pick the Orianna. I think it's just way too good of a pick. And now the Orianna, it doesn't have a Malphite, but the Ambess is not a bad ball. It's an incredible. Well, Poppy's a little more inconsistent, particularly into like Renekton stuns and whatever. I'm less fond of it, but like the Ambessa just instant blink in. How do you defend against that? It's so
Just
nasty.
dodge. 4 head, 5 head.
Have a Zyre ultimate.
Yeah.
You know, have a Zyre ult.
Interesting to see the statistical bot suggesting they kind of just about favor WE, which I suppose I can sort of see the fact that, you have actually got good pick potential yourself. Jarvan, Varus, Rakan, Akali, you can sort of skirmish well there, blow that initial target up.
I think they have a lot of ways they can play out the game, right? Lots of skirmish, heavy stuff. You've got very large target access. I guess you can technically play through side lanes too with Akali. Rakan Jarvan's a pretty strong jungle support combination. But then again, I look at this draft and I think, well, there's just a bunch of really good 5v5 tools from EDG.
Yeah.
And even regardless compared to... forgetting that, nameplates on, EDG are clear favorites in this game. WE looked not good at the Demacia Cup. They actually looked quite poor. EDG, they did meet JDG in quarterfinals, I want to say. But reminder, folks, that EDG went 5 games in their last playoff series of last year. They were really close to knocking out teams in that playoffs bracket, despite coming through from, they were the lower group at that point. They were a Group Nirvana team. But they were punching above what a lot of people would assume their weight to be, being one of the quote-unquote lower-tier teams. Now they put in Leave, and Akio retains his spot on the organization as well. I think EDG are a team to watch. I think this team can punch above their weight.
We'll keep our eyes on them, but I am largely agreeing with you. There's some good players on here. I think Xiaohao and ZDZ remain that duo. We had a little graphic in the pre-show about
they're just together forever.
top jungle duos and the percentage of games of the total games they played together. One of the only duos that was higher was Kanavi and 369, of course, who've broken apart now.
That, and I would imagine it was Shanji and Aki. Those two.
No, they weren't on there. Interesting, they were a little bit lower down.
Well, so they were on there, but they were lower down. I'm gonna go back and because I know that. Put it this way, I know that Aki played, or rather Shanji played, like all but like 3 of his games with Aki in his career, and they played like 500 games together.
Honest answer is I can't remember. Yeah. So I will hesitate. I also don't know the additional parameters about whether it is with a minimum number of games or whatever. Either way, it was a cool little stat. Leaving Poppy getting the shove early on here, as the Yunara is often wanted to do. I think Poppy this game could be quite valuable. A lot of dashes you can be invalidating between Rakan, Akali, Renekton, Jarvan ult. I don't actually know how Jarvan EQ works with Poppy, because I know the displacement stuff gets a bit weird with
you get stopped and
stuff. You do get stopped stuff, yeah.
In fact, it's one of the more famous
yes.
I mean, basically, if your champion is moving in not normal movement, you get stopped by Poppy.
Force a bit of a trade there. They did actually burn the heal, interestingly. Shove into the wall, looking for a bit more damage. Really looking to leverage the early lane advantage. Heal now traded back, but About is taken incredibly low.
W stop there from Rakan too. Question in chat, not sure whether you answered this from Varestarung. What can we expect from About? His Demacia Cup left a lot to be desired, I'm not going to lie, but you know, he's a Korean import coming in, and we'll, end of the day, a Korean import is a Korean import. They tend to have very good, solid mechanic base to come around. He has based himself now. I don't think there'll be a dive. Well, I don't know, you do have a Poppy. They'll call off the dive because these are 2 high HP members under the turret.
Still, About is going to be denied that wave, so we'll be down about 10 CS as a result of all of that. See whether that will lead to all that much more. Karis, a little bit trapped out here. Shockwave pulls him back. Doesn't have that ability to perfect execution away, so has to flash. Nice sequence of plays there from EDG. Getting summoners in multiple lanes, getting resets in multiple lanes. Fighting over the Scuttle Crab now, but I think with Yao and Monkey around, with About roaming up the river, they will go, you know what, that's going to be just fine.
Yeah, About was on Team Genji's Global Academy. So within the Genji organization, played in LCK CL, had, you know, decent results there. Wasn't champion or anything, but when you're on the Genji organization, you expect there to be a lot of potential from the players coming out of that. You know, every time a new player comes out of the Challengers League, you do raise an eyebrow and think, okay, well, what can they do? Because they are the biggest talent factory in the world, but
indeed they are. So I feel like I maybe just have to hit up the Rolodex. Go, yo, Chronicler.
Yeah,
What do you remember about? I mean, if anyone was going to know LCK Challenger
yeah,
stuff, Connie is the one who would know.
Teleport behind them. That's coming from the Poppy, from the Spellbook. They don't see this. They do need to. Well, they do have flashes. Can they get a wall stun? Unlikely.
Can they shove About back though? Yeah. Little trade doesn't lead to all that much. A fun idea from Palkia that doesn't really lead to too much more. But actually, the Arc of Judgment hitting allows About to be chunked out. Leave now forcing an Arc of Brew because he hits level 6, gets the flash. It's an extended play, but it works out.
And that's why Leaf didn't immediately follow up on the play from Palkia. Guys, I got the level 6. I can get a good chunk there. Gets another W. It's not a really kill threat there, but it chunks them out enough for him to push out the wave, get control of the lane, and get himself a free recall, regain the health he just lost.
Yao with his own Spellbook teleport worth noting. About also on this far as running the TP to allow more resets.
We can get 7 teleports in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 of them empowered from the top lane roll quest as well. What a world we live in, folks. I thought that teleports were less powerful now. I was wrong, chat. I was wrong.
I still think Karis could potentially have justified an Ignite here in mid lane, but hey, here we go. Decides against it. And I do get into Orianna as well. Something about the early lane can be pretty awful, so the ability to teleport back in and deal with some initial chunks can be quite important here and there.
I'm a mid laner by trade, and I have to say there are definitely angles for combat summoners now. I do miss the era of Ignite mid lane. It made the early lane very... You had to lock in. You had to really lock in. Individual autos flying this way and that way can change an awful lot. Monkey coming in, has the dunk, stops on his EQ though. There you go, demonstration of what happens when you fly as the Jarvan into the Poppy.
Like, my impression was it did, but I was like, you know what, it is displacement, and I always get a little bit nervous about Jarvan interactions.
Well, yeah. So, the grounding doesn't work the same way as like a dash stop. Because anything which moves you basically in a set trajectory like that will be blocked by anything which interacts with dashes. The way you activate that movement is what grounding is worried about, basically. You're not able to hang on, connects with the ultimate.
Blind fire comes on in with the quickness, but it will not be enough. Flash away to keep out from under the turret. Palkia needs to back away, but doesn't take an additional turret shot. Nice from Xiao Hao.
Just exploded! The burst is gone! That's the jungle support coming through, and this is one of the reasons why we're seeing more Ambessa jungle. Some teams prioritize this very, very heavily, and you understand why. Ambessa, even from the jungle role with less gold than a top lane position, can just one-shot a carry.
I believe it doesn't actually have all that much to work with here as the Chains of Corruption comes on down. We forced to cleanse. Got a little bit nervous with the fact that ultimate was still up and overstays perhaps a touch.
Okay, great done there. He did have all summoners in his ultimate.
I phrased that poorly. Basically, I saw About was coming back in with the Chains of Corruption. I don't know whether he should be there by himself.
Yeah, I think what that happens is, like, you see something happen, like, I need to say something about this, you know? But okay, either way, losing the cleanse is a big one. You know, it now means that the next time, every time it feels like in these games right now, if an AD carry particularly blows a summoner, you're in big trouble. I think the meta, as we are starting to understand it on this new season, is AD carries are actually quite vulnerable. They need their summoners available. They're very powerful, but they're very vulnerable at the same time. So when you do blow a cleanse or a flash against a Malphite or the Jarvan or something like that, you do need to be very aware of that timer when that summoner is down, because teams are absolutely good enough to punish you while you're waiting for that defensive capability to come back online.
Indeed. Angel chunks out that turret. Gets command attack distance onto Karis.
I like Angel as a player. I think he's one of those. He's obviously a world finalist from 2020 on Suning. Guy's had some real peaks despite not being on a peak team in the last few years. He occasionally, though, does have one of those real brain-off series. It's one of the things which has kind of kept him from returning to the Cup again. You know, Demacia Cup had some less good moments, and actually the series in which they bombed out of playoffs in that 5-game series, I seem to remember a lot of the mistakes towards the end of it did come from Angel too, which is a shame because he is a guy which has such a high ceiling. He was even an all-pro mid laner at points despite not being on a top team, which should tell you quite a lot about him. And he's one of the reasons why I have belief in EDG to push teams when it comes to it this year.
Yeah, I agree. Still, we're looking to see whether EDG can convert the early start to something a bit more cube. Opportunity of the early Renekton shove to get another plate there. That's a nice start for cube. Oh, bot lane. Let's get jumped on with Palkia behind, denying easy options out, shoving with his own Cataclysm wall. His Monkey Shockwave on 2. Nice denial. Karis still goes on forward. Did he look at the threat? That one gets the kill. Very nicely done.
Karis, slick on the Akali. It's become bread and butter for him, really. He picks it when it's available. And you know, we were saying, well, you know, they first pick the Varus. Don't you first pick the Orianna? I remember this happening in Demacia Cup now, too, where they would just let the Orianna go over so they can pick the Akali into it. Karis is happy with the matchup, gets his first kill participation, although WE can't stick around the bot river to take the dragon afterwards.
Honestly, I thought Palkia and Angel had done a pretty good job there of disengaging that, the shove of the Cataclysm wall, the double shockwave. Still not enough to stop that from happening as it goes on down. Gunblade early as well. Feels very nice to get that initial upfront burst slow, and the Omni Vamp, obviously very nice, has decided to go towards that build path. Infernal Dragon, though, despite the kill, looks like it's going EDG's way.
The thing about the Gunblade is that it's good in burst trades too, right? The slow so you can get that E on target means that you can absolutely go into like the Riftmaker second or whatever slow burn if you want to go towards that. But I mean, way back in the day, folks, Akali would build this come rain or shine. It is just such a good item for her with so many hybrid ratios. She doesn't actually do physical damage that much anymore, but she definitely scales off of it. Leave going for 1v2, gets exhausted here.
Be able to step away with the untouchable shadow, and so be more than fine. A little bit of cultivation of spirits to power those autos, and we'll be right as rain. Karis level 11 now, so we'll have that second rank of ultimates.
Harold mentioning Gunblade Mordekaiser. He does have some AD ratios too now. Although, personally, I'm waiting for Shojin Mordekaiser. Because there's been some Hexplate, which is genuinely very good. But I actually think there are some points where Shojin, just increased damage, then also just giving you the base brawl stats should be really good for that champion.
Omni Vamp, hybrid scaling is pretty good. Palkia, fine. The wall will be forced to heal.
Quite scary, actually. Q-Max Jarvan with one item. Should be quite scary there. Xiaohao a little behind an XP, jumping onto... Wow.
Oh, blind look maxing here as Palkia goes over the wall to no avail. Actually, he's going towards Xiaohao. I see the thought process there. And that's pretty deep. Angel roaming over. I've got Karis around, though, so this will be a 3v2 at best. And Xiaohao's kind of caught in the middle of members there, will be forced to break down, step away with a lacerator.
I think Palkia thought there was no vision over the wall, so the dung wouldn't come through. There was a ward in there. Leave will successfully recall, so he won't be on the chopping block next. And Palkia thought he could play. He thought he could play around the vision control, but there was a ward and red buff, and then Xiaohao just discovered there was a pink ward in their own jungle too. So good vision control there means that they get a good win there. Gold's back to even. They're in a good spot, actually.
Coming into this mid-game, the one item spike, very strong from this team. Ghostblade, Gunblade, Sundered Sky, Black Cleaver done as well. Top lane, though, hang on. Public execution.
Can they full combo him? Q3 used to stop Cube.
Oh dear, he's walked towards the
He
people.
is very alone here. I'm not gonna lie, folks. If you watched WWE last year, it was a lot of Cube getting dunked on his own here, but he'll pop the ultimate.
There's
It's
the wave.
safe for now.
You know what? Not bad in terms of the spider senses tingling about potential assaults on his life. The depth of my life has left me badly scarred.
Like that old, it's like that old LPL team.
Unlimited potential. Oh dear.
Wait, is that what? I'm trying to remember if that was what Ultra Prime's were initially called, or whether that was their academy team.
That's Ultra Prime.
Harrion would be able to tell us, actually. We're back to Star Wars references. Eventually, you list. Look, if a game goes long enough, we will somehow make our way back to the well. Yeah.
Precisely. And Andor's come out. It's been great content.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So you know,
We have friends everywhere.
it's true we do.
Stellan Skarsgård has been he put in a generational performance there. It is, by the way, a travesty that none of the Andor actors got nominated for Golden Globes.
Yeah, there was a couple clips
Emmys.
from podcasters from like Amy, whatever her name is, who basically went "Ugh," when someone brought up Andor having not watched it. She's one of the voters, that kind of thing. It's like, you know,
Yeah. Well, that's just some people, isn't it?
I think it's because Star Wars has got a rep for not being serious.
Well, this is the
Cinema,
thing,
right?
right? I mean, Andor's the Star Wars show you recommend to people that don't watch Star Wars because it's just such a good show that it kind of doesn't matter. But you know that they fight. Hang on, there could be a. No, okay, they're gonna call it a photo. I was wondering if there was actually a dive angle there. They choose not to. You know that they basically had to finally say, oh, if you're voting on the Oscars, by the way, just watch the films.
Yeah.
Palki's gonna punt him out. I think he's still dead. Palki's been punished quite a lot in this game so far.
Has and WE, the skirmishing power we saw with all of this mobility and the follow-up potential, very, very strong. Karras gets his first kill. Gunblade off to the races. Bot side, though, at least Herald is dropped. There will be a cross.
Remember, the first turret does give bonus gold now, too. They take that. Angel can... Right then into the end of the turret, looks like, too. So get a little extra gold there from 2 plates coming through so far. Do they get the third?
Should do his thing.
Can we get a third plate down there? Yes, they do just about. On the other side, though, Karras finishes off the full top lane out the turret.
Next dragon spawning about 15 seconds, and EDG are on the bot side of the map. Karras isn't there, doesn't have ult, so I don't know how easy it would be to actually fight with dragon should they so choose. Smite onto the Gwomp secures it for Monkey, but again means the Smite won't necessarily be up for Dragon. Did have that second charge, so actually would have that should they so choose to play. Karras keeps shoving.
Keep shoving, able to get himself 2 plates out of the turret there. Monkey, when he's on form, is really the beating heart of WE. Even last year, it really was about Monkey. When WE were falling into the abyss with Cube having 4 games, Karras having 4 games, Taylor Vampire having 4 games too, Monkey was so often the guy that was still raising the flag. He was always, almost always relevant. Leave jumped on to, flashing away from Monkey.
Heroic charge onto Monkey doesn't really lead to all that much, because Palki's not had the easiest time on
No.
what's been a very high ban rate presence champion. May still find value yet again. The W is very strong this game. Leaves Karras in the car. He's got Fiend on the box. It's starting to get to that point where EDG's team fight comp is kind of getting there too.
And Palkia is a player which we've got eyes on. This is a guy who is fairly new to the support role. His debut year was last year. Named after the Pokemon Palkia, by the way. He just couldn't name himself directly that because of, copyright reasons. And the god of creating space may find himself in a difficult area of the cosmos right now. We'll block out the Renekton slice, and we'll get out safely.
Does indeed. Angel throws out a command attack dissonance. Clears out the wave largely so. Again, it's going to go towards this Roa Leandri's build. I think, to be honest, when you're looking to get burst out, that little bit of HP building makes some sense to me. Still be a decent amount of damage threat. Dragon started. WE on it.
Xiaohua can always ult into the pit if he wants to go for a smite steal. They can also go for the Ambassador. Well, the ball's on him. Watch out for the Orianna Ambassador combo.
Comes the exhaust, Palkia continuing to threat, but I don't know how much he's going to do. There's a TP, the Ambassador ult goes wide, flash on him from Yaya with the quickness, gets the knock, needs to back away, about now in danger himself. That's a bit far, EDG the teleport, will Pathmaker away? Oh no, WE! That is not how you team fight.
there was just no peel for about. The rest of the team not able to peel for the Varus. ZDZ's all-out is now down, presses W, Monkey takes some damage, but that is not a tanky Cassante. He's gone into squishy mode.
Will have indeed done that. We'll get the Q3 pullback. Flash from Karas to get the back lane. Does have that Gunblade auto to come on through as well. Xiaohao now in danger. Another bit of that perfect execution. Misses his Shuriken flip, but still gets on top of Lee, who gets knocked up by the Grand Entrance. Much better from WE at the back end of the play.
However, during that play, the Shockwave did kill Monkey, so get Jungler down as well. Full kill count is, what, 2 for 2, looks like. First recall, though, coming in from Varus. He's teleporting back into the play. Without a jungler, can't really go towards the Dragon, though. No smite, so Dragon should be EDGs.
Crystallize on the turret means another plate is claimed. Xiaohao in the river. There are Hex Gates as well, so actual reset times to do this all over again. Relatively limited. Here come the TPs flying. That'll be Renekton flying back in, and WE to the scene of the crime.
So, EDG come away the winners from this skirmish. Xiaohao missing his ult. Definitely not the brightest moment in that one. Xiaohao is a jungle which I have a lot of respect for too. We talked about a little bit about him and his duo with ZDZ. Xiaohao's a guy that's been into the trenches. He has been on lower tier teams and performed exceptionally. He had a shot on Weibo in spring 24. Didn't really work out for him. Eventually got replaced by Tarzan. Well, what can you do about getting replaced by Tarzan? The guy's an absolute legend of the scene. But he still retained pretty good individual form. Dragon started again.
Q3 gets that happening forwards, trying to be that front. Nice steadfast presence. Karis goes in and immediately gets grounded in place. Public execution wide once more. It was a little bit of an ambitious one, but still. Come on, Xiaohao.
Not sure if that was just out of vision there at the end of it. There was water in the tri-brush. Great combo. Get absolutely poppied. Angel caught out now, though.
Flashes away. Steadfast presence to prevent Yao Yao getting into the back end of it all. Angel looking to punish potential rotation. Will be forced to burn the flash, but does allow Lee to get the turret, I think, as a result of the play around that pixel bush.
So Dragon kill turret. Really good set of wins there for EDG. Will open up a good amount of the map, because once the mid lane turret's down, you just get way easy access into enemy jungle. Some extra Phalites become available too. Typically they favor the defending team, it's worth noting. It's not always easy to use them as the aggressors. We get ourselves a pause. I guess we'll figure out what that's for and go about our merry way.
It's for...
It's because Sam, you know, needs to go.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
Well, how much prep time do you need, Sam? Would you like...
Probably all to get nice.
You should
it's probably a great time.
Not gonna lie, Sam. As soon as I thought, Sam, okay, this is probably the time.
That's fair.
Sam's gonna go do that thing where he does a podcast. I'm gonna do that thing where I pretend I'm on a podcast with this live game in front of me.
That's true.
So I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna sit here and pretend that I'm really engaging. Do you mind? Yeah, that'll be great, Sam. Because this podcast only needs one chair, Sam. Maybe we should do a chair podcast. What would I talk about there? Well, you know, wheels, lumbar support.
Put a mirror and talk to yourself. Schizophrenia chair podcast.
Funnily enough, there's a bloke on TikTok that does like philosophy and mental health stuff, talking to his like shadow self, his mirror self. It's really good actually, because it's really dramatic. We shall wait. I just realized if that Sam's gone, I have less like space to randomly do an Uma run in the background, which I might have done during the early game. Yeah.
Sam, I did in fairness do some Genshin. So
yeah, that's gotta keep ourselves sane somehow. That's the real skill that we have here. We're actually able to give you engaging content whilst also, you know, playing separate video games. The ADHD will never tone itself down for us. I have wondered getting medicated for ADHD. I've heard it actually is a bit of a life changer. But then I'd be worried that all of my funny quirks would go with it, you know? Ugh. What's everyone's favorite moment been from the first couple of days of LPL? Because I tell you, my favorite one is probably... I really like the Thresh Express escape from On. That was really cool. I enjoyed that quite a lot. That was a good one. Anyone else have any favorite moments? I liked Xiaohu flashing for a Cassiopeia ult that would do nothing. That was particularly satisfying. Edward Gaming Enjoyer. Feng Yue's six-pack Leona. Oh, true. Oh, man. Feng Yue, like... I hope he grows as a player, because right now I'm quite worried about his level. Yeah, because my issue is I don't think top esports will be relevant if their jungle support remain as poor as they do. AP Jax deleting Sivir through Spell Shield. That is a great call out, Reese. That's a great call out. Zuka's AP Jax was kind of insane, actually. It was kind of insane. Any other contenders? Whatever, I'll put the camera on. We're in a pause, we'll figure it out. I got fear of heights and depression from my ADHD medication. Oof. Yeah, that's the problem when you're medicating quite complicated stuff, isn't it? There's always stuff which can kind of randomly be connected. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's obviously very difficult. I'm sorry to hear that. This now as well, actually. Makes it a little bit more personal. What else have we had so far? By the way, I'm starting to actually, like... I don't know why I didn't do this before, but I'm actually starting to take notes on games because they often blend together for me. I've started taking notes on games so I can kind of remember them easier when I'm reviewing. Just like a couple of things. No more Atakan favorite moments. Wonderful call out as well. Atakan, yeah, Atakan sort of ruined a couple of games, didn't it? Yeah. Oh, one of my favorite moments from LCK was the Willa's Insect onto Chovy, which no one's going to remember because it was a regular season loss. But there was a wonderful Shinzao E-Taxi ult. So you kind of ease to someone besides them, flash ults them back into a shockwave. It was really, really slick, actually. It's very, very cool. What else did we have? Anything else crazy? Rookie Zarya was pretty good. Enjoyed that game from him. What else happened in the Weibo IG series? Oh, Elk's 19 kill Kai'Sa was pretty legit. That was kind of insane, actually. By the way, I think there are some crazy Kai'Sa builds in the new patch. There's stuff like the Dawn and Dusk, which gives you like double on hit on a Spellblade auto. That's really strong. Why is that going what else we got? Honkyu's Orianna was really legit. Really legit. Cream Silas 1v9. Ruler's Ezreal, I'm still young. That was very cool. Hey, we're back into game, and we'll get rid of my camera. Okay, so Palkia has been punished a fair bit, actually. He's not had the easiest time of things. 2 items for a bout. He's got himself the upgraded Manamune into the Muramana. Does anyone have a favorite legendary sword? Are you all basic Excalibur bitches? You know. Any Durandal enjoyers? Thank you for commentating. You guys are the best. I appreciate you, Whitestar. Hey, we're gonna try and bring you as much as we can. You know, this is something that we really love we really love doing for you all, and it's very cool to have the opportunity. We'll see how long we can keep doing it for. It depends on the amount of support we get, of course, and how social media metrics go. Potential jump over the wall here. Angel does not have a flash. Karis is coming over. Shockwave does actually stop the first part of the ultimate. It won't stop the second one. Karis is trying to ult out. Now he's behind the turret. Karis is going to die for this, so it will end up being 1-for-1 after... Hang on a second. Very nearly a 2-for-1. The E landing was nasty, and Gunblade Shadow Flame does a lot of work. Does Monkey die for it too? This could end up being extended. 1-for-2. Monkey jumps onto Palkia. It's not going to help him. 1-for-2. WE go way too deep. Now, what this does mean is that there's going to be a turret fully taken in mid lane, so WE do get something else for it. Suppose that means it's an even trade. Tower equal to a kill, arguably strategically more valuable. You lose the Jarvan flash. A mixed play. A mixed play. We'll call it even. We'll call it even. Glamdring the ultimate soars. Yeah, Glamdring's a pretty good one. Yao Yao. Cancel out. He's cancelled out of the W. Has to pop the ult. Rakan a very mobile champion, but only gets half of it if he has an ally nearby. EDG taking top lane turret. So we've had a couple of tower trades. We had mid lane and bot lane taken by WE, top lane taken by EDG. So a tower trade up for WE, kill trade up for EDG. They're 2.5k ahead. Did we actually hear what were the pauses for, by the way? I was kind of yapping too much. People really underestimate how much effort goes into yapping, especially if you're trying to keep it on vaguely on topic. That's the hard thing. Actually, yapping, directionless yapping is quite easy. Well, I mean, I suppose it is for me. You know, I'm a different kind of beast. As Northern Line may say. I don't know whether we would say. In fact, I don't think the phrasing's quite right for that. Even the stream disagrees with me. Protesting. Dragon in a minute. Will we have any big item breakpoints for that? Maybe we get 3 items for about... If lethality items tend to be a little cheaper than crit ones. That being said, I suppose the Fiend bolts are fairly cheap, so maybe that won't be the case. If I was looking towards that Cyril's, I'm sure he'll reach it in time. Palkia, hit the Akali E. Karis has not enjoyed playing against this Poppy. No surprise. Smite onto El Scutel. And Monkey... Wow, Monkey is just not allowed to play. He's just not allowed to play. Fire Assault comes through. Damage onto Xiaohou. It's not enough, though. Your jungler's dead. Jungler's dead a minute before Dragon. You'll lose that one. Do they look for a bigger fight? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Leave. Runs forwards. Can you get an extra slow? No. About will be able to escape. EDG, take 1 kill. I mean, there's 30 seconds till Dragon, but, I mean, you could take the Baron instead. Is there a contest available? Karis has all. I think this could be risky from EDG. Angel's trying to mark out Karis, and will do. It's a bit of damage down to him. Yao Yao. Looking for something around the side. Cube goes into the pit immediately. Wall suddenly immediately punts it out. Well, there goes the Crocodile. No contest from Cube. He has to teleport in. Cube, my dude, the objective's gonna be gone. Smite it away. Cube into the play again. Shockwave whiff. That's 1 dead from the side of EDG already as Yunara goes down. So AD carry out of the equation. EDG, can they get themselves a retreat? Well, that's 2 dead for them now. That's definitely not going to help. We said it was going to be risky. It seems like we've been proven right. Karis has himself the E. It's on target. Arrow comes through. Karis doesn't follow it back. 3 out right now. Varasol hitting and it'll lock down that jungler who dies for the attempt. 4 dead now. Monkey does not have the dunk. He won't be able to close down the 5th. EDG, it was a mistake to go to Baron. And funnily enough, didn't we just call that out? Looks like that was fairly obvious. EDG lose their AD carry. Leave died. And that's going to be 2 turrets. Hang on a second. How much else did they lose? Did they lose the inhibitor? It won't be the game. Okay, half the turret. Shockwave was still on cooldown. I'll take chunk out of mid lane turret too. Is that going to be the full one here? No, not quite. They can come into wave clear. Oh, EDG, come on. This was so obviously very risky. I also wonder whether Palkia should have hit that onto a bout, you know? The teleport back in from Cube, I was initially like, well, it's going to be gone already, but then goes crazy. Leaf gets hit by the knockup, which he could have flashed. The shockwave doesn't help. Leave. You have to flash that, Leave. Huge mistake by Leave. Huge mistake. No, this is the most important fight of the game, probably. And you die without using your sub. Wait, was it on cooldown? Hang on, was that on cooldown? And if it was on cooldown, why was he there? There are 2 options for it. Either it was on cooldown, and he shouldn't have positioned like that, or it was off cooldown, and he should have used it. One of the 2. Xiaohou has his ultimate available. Not had the best Ambassador game. There's a player again, which I have a lot of love for. I think he's a really, really quite impressive player. In fact, actually, he destroyed Team WE in the Knights Rival stage, I believe it was, actually. To knock them out of last year. It's not Demacia Cup Monkey anymore. Monkey's had a mixed game. Of course, playing into the Poppy, pretty difficult. But on the whole, he's been very impactful, as we expect Monkey to be, I suppose. Dragon started up, would be 3rd Dragon, 3DG. Oh, Cube dodges out the Shockwave. Angel, it's another whiff. It's another whiff, and now suddenly the Shockwave threat is gone. Palkia has his ult. Can he use that to change the equation? Looks like WE just don't want to contest. I think they're afraid of the Poppy ultimate. amongst other things, I suppose. And even with a whiffed shockwave, EDG walk away with third dragon. WWE walk away with nada, nothing, zilch, zero. Other words which mean very little to none. Let's have a check in on those items again. It's actually ahead of gold on leave now. Mid lane is also ahead for Team WWE, so the carries of WWE are in a great spot. Very scary when you got 2,000 gold lead on Akali with Gunblade in this meta. Stopped up for the Seekers, going towards the full death cap instead, though. Not going towards the Zhonya's completion right now. This looks hard for Akali to play. How does he turn the tide? Get a good flank. You know, not every angle can be defended against. If you play front to back, yeah, it's pretty awful. Cassante presses W, you can't dash through him, basically. Same thing with a Poppy. Both of them just have really good defensive capabilities. And if you do get caught, the follow-up is, it's going to one-shot. Okay, taking heavy damage there from the Varus. Well, look, the early lane wasn't fantastic from About and Yao. Got shoved around a little bit. Oh, come on, stream goes black. If you want yourselves an official broadcast, you're going to have to make some noise. We don't have these kinds of pauses anymore. About fires an arrow over the wall. Poppy is dead again. Karras goes golden. Uses that Seekers he's been saving up. Angel has himself a shockwave. Karras does have his ultimate. Does miss the E. Again, this is what you get with a bootleg. Oh, Monkey. Yeah, well, that's the follow-up. Monkey is deleted. Monkey C, Monkey gone. Dead jungler. No objectives up right now, but you really don't want to be losing members like that so easily. Good punish by the shockwave, and then Xiao has ultimate to follow up. Scuttle Crab will be taken by EDG, which means they can clear out the rest of the vision in the area. Dragon up in, Baron up in a minute. Dragon up in under 3. EDG could get themselves Hextech Soul in the next attempt. Lots of pings around the map. Sam's absolutely right. This choral music, very, very cool in the background. Potential jump onto Karras in top lane. He's jumping in with the ultimate. There's no defense for him right now. Goes golden as Angel, afraid that Karras was going to jump out and completely one-shot, which, with a Shadow Flame. Yep, that is a worry. He has the Spellslinger shoes as well for extra penetration. CDZ pushing on bot side. That crystallized was nasty. So this is the fight that we missed. And you see jumping front to back quite difficult for WE. But Poppy at least is assassinatable. Yeah, you know. Diveable and submissive. Haha. And then what the heck happens here with Monkey? Jumps over the ball. And then it just goes right back onto him. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. Yeah. Not much else to say about that. Baron spawned now. Dragon in 2. I believe clearing out a ward. WE, if they can get Akali into the fight and onto the carries, they win. I think that's the equation that we've seen now. So how can they set up for that? Well, Rakan Jarvan. Cube's not exactly doing that much, but at least he's not, you know, dead weight at this point. Heal from EDG. Well, hang on, that's a good ult onto Monkey. If they can get rid of the engage, it changes the equation. The Renekton punted out, the jungler dead. Remember, with the objectives coming up, and him dead for 50 seconds, that will give them an angle. Now, remember what happened last time? They killed the jungler, and they still lost the fight around the Baron. They might look for a recall, and then to teleport back in with more HP to play things around. Karras is trying to clear out some wards, just put that down that sweeper. EDG, I think they've learned from the last time that they faced up against that Baron. Let's not throw to W in the fight afterwards. Four items for both ADCs. Just hit 5 there from about. Even gold between the two AD carries. And that will be another half item picked up by Leave. Mid lane, 3 items for Angel. Almost 4 for Karras, who did take one of those needlessly large rods and finish the Zhonya's. So he didn't finish the death cap. Built up 2 needlessly large rods. One of them is, yeah, going to be sat in inventory for a fairly long time now. Yao will watch the blue buff go down. It's no longer a team blue buff, by the way. This is something which they've removed. They gave team-wide buffs, and then they've taken them away. Dragon spawning will be soul for EDG if they get it. Yam, half HP. Remind it. Whoever finds the first engage and gets some damage onto the backline probably wins. Well, actually, no, EDG don't need damage onto the backline. You caught out. Late game Renekton him. Not the tankiest. A lot of damage onto him. Leave great damage onto him too, though. Now that means that Akali can 100% destroy him. Monkey looking for an angle. Great damage from about onto him. That might win them the dragon. That might win them the dragon. Yeah, I don't think it's safe to fight this now. Yeah, walking over. EDG might go for a smite fight, but guys, you're not taking up the AD carry. Stop this recall. Jumping forwards, and there's good damage onto him. About will one-shot the Nymaera, but the dragon goes to WE. They miss the smite to EDG. They go for the fight. They lose the objective, and they're going to lose, what, 2-3 members? WE get a huge chunk onto the Nymaera, thanks to About Varus, and that wins them the situation in this late-game fight. 3 dead, only Xiaohao and Angel living to tell the tale from EDG. Their objective play hasn't been good. It hasn't been very good, folks. They've been a little anti-clutch around that first Baron of the game. This Dragon too. Their late game clutch factor does not seem to be very strong. Great stuff from About though. This is going to buy them the Baron. Dragon, Baron. They're not close to Soul themselves, but they're in a position now where they can start wrangling the map. Baron to WE, all 5 members. Look at this, just a full combo onto Leave. And one of the problems about Nymaera is that you don't build sustain. You don't build sustain. A full combo from Poke Varus effectively takes the AD carry out. At this point, I think EDG should have just left it. Leave wanted to recall. About walks up to him. And look, it's not like Leave can let the team play it 4v5. If they're going to fight, they should have him there, really. Reminder that EDG did come in as pretty heavy favorites here. WE looked poor at Demacia Cup. EDG, a lot of players on here we have a lot of respect for, actually. Angel's had a poor game, really, I think. His shockwaves at various points have been wanting. I think Xiaohao's ultimates have been mixed. At least he's doing damage in the fights. Palkia caught out a lot, but mainly it's the macro. Mainly it's the decision making. It's less on individual play, more on the team decisions. WE on the other side. Feels like strategically they've been a little better than EDG. Picking off people at the right moments, allowing Karis into the backline. Karis had a very good game. And About, despite a weaker early game, now really making his presence felt. Good chunk onto Leave in that last fight, as we were saying, winning them the situation. More poke onto Angel there was quite potent too. Varus ultimate. Well, just speaking well about. And that was less good. This is that one, but whatever. It's a bit of a free play. It's the end of the Baron buff. No, it wasn't. We got middle left of it. I don't know if it's because there was a timer on the other side of the screen going down as well. Not a timer, kill feed thing. Them changing the overlay has really messed with some of my instincts for watching this stuff. Okay, quick reload of the stream. That happens. So we'll jump forwards very briefly here. There you go. Oh my god. Arrow onto Leave again. Look at that work from About. It's genuinely very impactful. Palkia caught out again. All coming through from Cube. Monkey jumping forwards. And because, well, the Nymaera's gone back, there's no damage. They just chunked out the Nymaera, so they're not there for the fight. If you're going to recall your AD carry, you have to make sure you're safe. Nymaera now comes in, but he's melee range of a Renekton. Melee range of the Renekton. And WE dive in and mince up EDG. From a very dominant game to objective mistakes, EDG have only themselves to blame for this game as WE clutch out, punishing the mistakes. There'll be a teleport back in towards the Nexus. EDG, this one's on them. WE clean up the game around some big objective fights, and they'll take game 1 of the series in a matchup we had considered them underdogs. Oh, EDG, these late game plays are just not working for them. The late game objectives are poor, frankly, folks, they're poor. A lot more to be expected from EDG. You know, last year it did feel like they were a little anti-clutch as well. At points, the big objectives were some of their biggest downfalls. The early games were good and they'd start throwing later on. EDG, we expect better from you. We expect better. Whereas on the other side, WE, you know, I think Monkey had some very clutch engage, and Karis in particular on the Akali, showcasing why he picks that champion so often. Very confident player of that champion. I'm going to put some adverts on because we just ran out of pre-roll, and well, we could have ourselves one final game now. You know, WE, can they close it out in a 2-0? Thought EDG should be a level above the rest of the teams in this group. Maybe we were mistaken. Maybe we were mistaken. Ugh. Oh my god, is that 190 stream streak? Hey, good job, Angie. Almost at the 200 stream streak, that's insane. Witness me. I've never, okay, this is a, I don't know whether this is a self-report, but I've never seen Mad Max. I've never seen Mad Max. The older movies are super fun too. One of them has Tina Turner. Tina Turner. Is that a musician, Tina Turner? Cool, I didn't realize that. For a second I thought you said Timmy Turner, and I'm like, what? Please look messages. I can do. Oh, cat. Cat. Meow meow. Haven't watched Furiosa yet too. I heard Furiosa was excellent. I heard it was very good actually. Car, meow, car, meow. Cat magnet. It's the worst things to be. about player of the game, those chunks onto Nymaera were really, really, really important. I personally would have given it to Karis, I think. But no, you know what? That's fair. That's actually fair. Oh yeah, we do have D&D later. Yep, yeah, that's true. Looking forward to that. Give vibes for a bad day? Let me think. About is only my second favorite Varus player today. You are my favorite. Your piercing arrow hits my heart. Your wait, what's the ultimate called? No, Chains of Corruption sounds really quite sus actually, but sure, why not? That's on target too. I hope your blighted quiver is forever full.
把生活玩出新意，自由自在，灵感随行，
用个性的方式画世界，
让眼界突破边界。
I miss you more than Varus ult. Wow, the most missed skill shot in the game, you mean?
让每一刻精彩不再等待。
上京东搜京东电竞直播，赢1000元耳机和游戏手办。京东。
峡谷操作要秀，第一助攻拉满，穿李宁日进斗金系列，祝你峡谷稳赢，
马你旺到飞起。
速速扫描二维码解锁同款，把福气满满穿上身吧。
投降的时候你会点否？
对，周末很强，但是不知道强在哪。
明年也转上的。
AD 的那第7件装备不太可能实现。
It's not even just the full build, fitting another component, a pickaxe or whatever, that you didn't have room for otherwise in a build. I think that's where a lot of the power of the item slot actually is.
有点太鸡肋的点就是我的眼是不会放在这么浅的位置的。
They're actually made to allow split pushers to ward for themselves. There are other ones that were put down for different purposes, which were basically to help teach newer players some better warding patterns.
EDG 本来就是非常多的博弈的，
对我们来说，这个改动是对我们来说削弱我们了。
对某一个人的伤害会非常大，就导致你不想玩这把游戏了。
The primary goal here of speeding up at the beginning of the game was simply that people have lost hours of their lives sitting at their outer turret waiting for the game to
Yeah,
start.
Hydra, I actually am drinking in the background. I have 2 forms of drink in front of me. How big is the tungsten cube you're throwing? Because I find that very unbelievable if it was like a significantly large tungsten cube. Those things are very, very, very heavy. Okay, fine, posture check. Fine. I hope EDG will win this. Well, they need to get better around late game objectives because that was not good enough that last game, and I seem to remember that being a problem from last year too. Yes. Wasn't it Ludwig who basically gave his chat free reign to design his room, and they bought him like a they bought him a tungsten cube. Okay, enjoy thy nap, Angie. And now we see if we get 1 or 2 more games. I don't know, EDG are just a team which they've actually been quite promising in the last day or two. In the last year or two, but I just don't feel like they've delivered much on it. What does everyone make of the changes to, so the Star Wars bosses have changed. Kathleen Kennedy's moved on, and, what's his name? Dave Filoni and one of the others has moved up to kind of like co-run LucasArts, or Lucasfilm. The thing is, Dave Filoni, I liked his work on Clone Wars. I think he now doesn't know how to let go of his favorite stuff, because the way that they've used Asuka has been quite poor. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried, that's so. You know, I like Dave Filoni, I just wonder whether, let me get rid of that. Just give me 1 Clone Wars season. Hey, the last 4 episodes of season 7 were well, I hear they're absolutely nuts. I've actually been grinding. Well, I was grinding my way through it, and then I stopped. Come on, let's get into game already. Let's get into game already. Let's get this done. Oh, turn my camera on. Hello. I know that there was a posture check. I did fix it for one brief moment, and then I flopped again. I have shrimped thine self. I was actually sitting okay before that. Anything in terms of draft? Well, I don't think the draft was the problem from EDG. I think it was the play. You know, the play wasn't great. I don't know who's shot calling for them. I mean, it's often a collaborative thing, right? But the way they play around objectives is just not good enough. Compliment for Harold. Your choice of potatoes was inspired. Yeah, your choice of potatoes was very inspired. Also, I saw a post about Parmigiano, and I immediately thought of you because I feel like you command that sort of cheese respect. Apparently, it's very protein heavy. It's one of the most protein dense foods you can get. Cheese. Yeah. Also, I hope you're doing better, by the way, Harold. I know you were having a bit of a rough time not too long ago, and I was getting quite worried for you, actually, so I hope you are doing better. I'm looking forward to D&D later. It's a great diet food. Yes, so I've heard, because it's like really protein-rich parmesan. Okay, we're on to stage. Should be into draft. What's out of the pool right now? Well, no Akali Oriana, which leaves stuff like Talia, Rise, I suppose Azir as well. Both these players are actually Azir players, which is not always the case in LPL. What else? Nymaera Varus. So we have stuff like, I guess, Misfortune, Ezreal, Aphelios. Those 3. We still have Malphite. Shinzao. Malphite Shinzao for jungle. Wukong as well. No lactose. Aha, I didn't realize. Huh, interesting. Okay, into the game we go. Into the game. Fellows, Jace, no surprise. Nico's gone. Silas is gone, which means Alistair's now more powerful. Or, like, Malphite and Alistair are now more powerful. Because, you know, Silas is such a good answer to them. Who has first pick? EDG have first pick is on red side. This is going to be weird, because every first pick is going to be on red side, because every team who's actually... thank you for the sub, by the way. Appreciate you, Sheriff. Appreciate you. Thank you. And by the way, anyone who does give us support does make a lot of difference to us. We do mention this a lot, but, you know, we do this as a job, and it makes a lot of difference to us. Okay, so... First pick. I would imagine it's something like, well, Shinzao wouldn't be bad, I suppose, or, well, Wukong's gone. Shinzao's not bad. You can also go towards, well, Aphelios is gone. Malphite's not bad either as well. If you ban the Silas, you're probably looking for a Malphite anyway. Problem is now, what happens if you see... Ari Corki as carries, then you can't get as much value out of the Malphite. Azir I don't love into Malphite because you have to stop to auto-attack so much and your range isn't high enough. Look, Karis is still a pretty good Azir player. I think Azir is one of the more risky players to this. It's not much this one to show some... No, it does make a difference, Chef. It does make a difference and we appreciate you. And you found me last year? Well, I'm glad you did and welcome into the community. Appreciate you. So, what do you pair up with this? You can go Mundo into the Malphite. That's often been a bigger pick for... There you go. The Mundo into the Malphite typically tends to be a good matchup because Mundo just runs at you. Malphite has to ult defensively. Can't really win the straight-up fight against it. The stream will reload very quickly because it looks like it's gone dead. Actually, on both the feeds right now. I hope that's okay. Because I've got one on one side, I've got one on the other. It's coming back now. The feed has not been excellent, folks. It's not been excellent. Potential of the Gnar coming in. Gnar's, well, with Renekton gone, it's a better blind pick. Thank you, Katari. Appreciate you. Gnar's pretty good into Mundo. Malphite can win the fight. I think eventually it just doesn't happen that way, Harold. I'm sure that Malphite can. I just think that Malphite in practice can't farm as well as Mundo. Often falls behind in gold. And then Mundo just runs at you. Tillia locked in. Tillia's fine into the Azir. Pretty good into Mundo. You can kind of wall off both of these, this top jungle. I'll start taking... Wait, Conqueror on Malphite? I thought it was Press the Attack was the one that you saw more often. I thought it was Press the Attack. Also, Conqueror's just not good enough onto everyone else on the team is the problem. But yeah, if there's a way for Malphite to actually play better against Mundo, then that would be very valuable, of course. Yorick into the Gnar, pretty powerful. If you ever misuse your jump, you die. I don't think Gnar's that bad into Yorick, though. Cube is comfortable on the Yorick. That's why he's picking. He's comfortable on it. Yeah, Uzi, I agree. Typically, Electrocute has been seen in pro play for uncertain, and you know, it's still a 3-hit burst rune, which you want to do with Press the Attack or something like that at 2, where you basically auto-attack reset. Second round, Kai'Sa Alistair banned away from what is looking to be a bit of a dive combo from EDG. Karma Braum banned away from WE, which bans away some champions which are better against melee support picks, for one. Sivir comes through, and now you get a spell shield against the Malphite. You can smite as you're diving in as the Malphite and hope you win the mind game. It's a bring your daughter to work day combo as well, as Azir and his descendant Sivir hit the rift. And on the other side, what are we feeling? Well, there's no Varus. If you want something that follows up from a long range, I don't think you want to go Jhin in this comp. You need more damage against the Mundo. You can Corki, maybe. That'd be very different. I don't... Well, Sivir's pretty bad against Vayne. This actually could be an okay Vayne angle. Yorick's not good against Vayne. Mundo hates Vayne. Come on, Vayne's actually pretty good here. Come on, Vayne's pretty good here. Give us it. Come on, leave. It's good. Give us Vayne. Look, Jinx isn't bad either, but come on. Vayne would have been so sick. Ah, whatever. Whatever. Jinx comes in. It's long range. You can reset fairly effectively. Your laning phase is a bit of a wash now. Sivir's going to push in the wave with the Ricochet, and Jinx will just look to scale up later into the game. That's the plan. That's the play. I thought there was a good angle there. That sucks. Last pick for Yao Yao. Lulu. Lulu. So now if you don't catch the Lulu in the engage, she enchants whoever has been hit. And was also, with Sivir and Lulu, the amount of move speed you can give to someone like Yorick or Mundo gets insane. Lulu has a second attack speed carry in the Azir to buff up as well. I think WE walk away with the better comp. EDG, I mean, arguably I think they were a little better in the last game. Arguably, anyway. This time I think WE will walk away with better comp, honestly. We'll see how Yao Yao pilots the Lulu, of course. Could be our last game of the day. Be a big win if WE do win this, because I think myself and many others did just assume that EDG would be a level above the others in the Perseverance group. So for those of you that have not caught up with the LPL format, we have 3 groups now, basically an S tier, A tier, and B tier. This is our kind of like our middle group, the A tier. EDG were assumed to be a little better. We'll list those gyos. In Xi'an for this game. With the B-Tech group. And once again, Huya gives us a little pause. Anything interesting in the runes? Double lethal tempo for the carries. Of WE, electrocute for... Hang on. Ghost popped on both. Both AD carries pop and Ghost. And they're just not even auto-attacking each other. The thing is, if Sivir can get a auto-attack reset at level 1, then you can actually really threaten at the level 2, level 3 with a Lulu poke as well. You actually can. That was so funny. But Leave's reactions were good. Leave immediately presses the Ghost and runs backwards. The thing about Sivir as well is that if you do auto-attack someone, you get like an amount of move speed onto them. Oh, I think level 2 is going to be won by EDG here, actually. Yaya did put the Glitter Lance across the front, a couple of minions. Surprised that about Yaya couldn't get more damage onto those minions and win the race to level 2 is very typically Sivir does. The reaction check there was so funny. Level 2 hit now. They managed to kill the minions. Boomerang Blade. Oh, was that level 2 for Yaya or was that for... Huh. No, he started with the Ricochet, so we must have had level 2 from the minion before that. Funnily enough, Monkey, not the first Mundo jungle player to exist on WE. Hang, the jungler beforehand, was pretty much the only Mundo jungle player in LPL for a while. So EDG's bot lane really getting a leg up on About and Yao Yao. I'd imagine both these teams have played that bot lane matchup a lot to understand that that's a break point. Level 1, if Sivir can ghost at you and get an auto-attack reset, that's probably a big turning point in the lane. So if you deny the auto-attack reset, then probably the all-in late is a little harder. Monkey walking bot side. I don't really think there's much for you to do here. And once again, it's a double summoner procced, and that's it. Monkey walks forwards, throws a briefcase, and that's it. It's not every day that you see someone just walk at the other person, press a summoner, and the other person immediately does the same in the opposite direction. Garrison Angel trading hard in the mid lane. What's happening top lane? Oh, nothing interesting. Malphite going topside, likely to recall soon. What you tend to do is recall in the enemy jungle, and as you're recalling at the end of it, you drop a ward over the wall. Means you have information for the second cleared jungle. Mundo will do the same on bot side most likely, but he's actually walked... No, he put a ward a little bit shallower. Put one in Tribrush, but he's not exactly tracking the enemy jungle path. So what happens now in this jungle matchup is... once you get to kind of first reset and first item, mid-game, Mundo really has a lot more damage. Hang on, the Chompers land. That's a big mistake, Yao Yao. One more auto will do it. Leave gets himself the reset. Big mistake by Aya. Lulu is not an easy champion to lane with in terms of your vulnerability. Playing a melee support compared to playing a enchanter, very, very different. Yaya goes down for the first death of the game. Big mistake. Palkia got the kill. Yeah, he did, but it means you get full wave control. It means that you get preferential reset. Yaya uses his flash. About walking a Palkia here, actually. Do they get to hold the wave here? I think they can. So, despite that being a good kill onto them, they cancel the recall, because it's a bit of a disrespectful back from leave. And suddenly a lot of the advantage, which was gained from EDG, is now lost. Because the wave is frozen. Their reset is late. About resets at exactly the same time. The wave is now frozen on the same side of the lane for about. So that ends up being, weirdly, just not that big for EDG. No preferential reset. No wave control. Kill goes to Palkia, not to leave, so he doesn't get himself a huge... Well, he does get a BF sword in the first back. That is big. The BF sword first back to the Caulfields does favor leave. It absolutely does. It used to be way back in the day, Season 3, Season 4, that you always had to try and stick around for BF sword. That's why Sheen builders were really big at that time. Because what you would do is, if you had to build a Sheen, you would force a heavy trade when you had gold for Sheen, but they didn't have the BF sword, and you'd win out on the early reset. Monkey's running at them. I don't... Hang on a second. Is he going to get caught on the trap zone? Oh, come on, WE. That is just lazy. Another traps land. A reset comes through. The BF sword from Leave means that his auto attacks are really slapping. Another slow landing. Little Lance landing in turn. Palkia can get another stun. He gets the knockup instead. Oh my god, this bot lane is doing some work. Leave, one of the AD carries we've got our eyes on here in LPL in 2026. Doesn't get a single kill. Palkia gets all 3 kills. Why is the Rel walking around with like a stack of cash in his back pocket? Buddy, you're the support. Give the money to your carry. Oh, I swear to God. Oh. Level 6 hitting topside from both sides. Rel is now the ADC, so now Rel can build a BF sword on the next back. By the way, if you get this fed as a support, there is an argument to say you change your build path. Xiaohua's level 6. About, well, he has a spell shield. He uses it. It doesn't save him. And About doesn't flash afterwards. That's a free kill onto the AD carry. This bot lane has just been disastrous for WE. Just disasters. EDZ will escape for now. Turret shot hits him. Just about lives. Less than 100 HP. EDZ survives the aggressive attempt on the top side from WE. Okay, so the first kill, I somewhat understand that. Now, did both of these kills really have to go to Palkia? Jumps backwards, denies the Mundo passive. Traps go afterwards. He stops for a Q, which means... And he doesn't flash, so he ends up going down there too. What happens here? I think he would have died. That one maybe. He flashes to confirm it. Okay, ZDZ has now died. Angel's flown up topside. Cube is... Cube's dead as well. And we're at a pause. What happened? What happened? What happens, hot lane? Oh, don't tell me he, like, disconnected or something. Because, hang on. So, ZDZ died. Cube was alone under turret. What happened? We didn't see shit there. Hey, Zeref, how's it going? Okay, what's the damage, folks? What have we done? What's happened here? That was, presumably something happened in that top lane dive. Cube is standing and or still auto attacking. I think Cube might have DC'd. But the thing is, ZDZ still died. ZDZ still died, so I don't know. I'm not sure. It's not looking great though, gotta say. And a reminder, folks, we're actually streaming on TikTok now as well as all the other things. So if you and by the way, it does make an awful lot of difference if you just stop in and drop a like or review onto any of these. Really makes a lot of sense, but it makes a lot of difference to us because we're kind of starting to try and make our way through the social algorithm, right? Cool to see a lot of viewership on YouTube for Anivia as well. Of course, the thing is, obviously, with every year, there are new people that come up in terms of co-streaming and whatever, and we had a really big year in 24. We really struggled to match that in 25 because everyone went over to watch LPL English, really. Yeah, but teaming up with Onivia has very much helped our numbers. If we want to make a career out of this, it really has to kind of go viral, and it's really hard to make it through the algorithm. And with no official LPL broadcast, streams like ours, you know, I hope they make a difference. I think they do, from what chat tells me. I don't like to presume, you know. Keep yourself humble and all that. But, yeah. Only a couple of days in, enjoying ourselves. How's LCK going, folks? Anyone catching up with that right now? So we should be into game 3 of T1 HLE, right? Oh, it looks like it's pretty T1 dominant in, It looks like it's pretty T1 dominant in game 3, actually. Wow, okay. I'm really gonna have to catch up with this. Wow. Nice. Okay, I just watched a clip on the old Twitter. Thank you so much for the resub, Time Lord. Appreciate you. Or the sub. I don't know whether that's just one of those, because when it shows up like that with the announcements, sometimes it's like someone's gifted a sub and you're just basically reconfirming it, which is cool. Oh, it's over? Oh, right. I didn't realize. Because that was like 9 minutes ago I saw that clip, I suppose. The extra results haven't come through yet. Any information on screen? No, doesn't look like it. It's a resub. Oh, thank you, Time Lord. Appreciate you. Sometimes it doesn't show up on the activity feed, which is a real weird thing, which is why Moobot helps us out with that one, actually. Insane rundown from Kanavi. For God's sake. I mean, Kanavi. Kanavi. Come on, my boy. Come on, my boy. That's my boy. Oh, no, my boy. I should reset up Uma Musume so I can do runs during the break like this. By 20 minutes, T1 were basically just like a lion playing with their food. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to have to catch up with that one later. By the way, folks, I think what I might start doing, you'll remember that I did a lot of VOD reviews in the past. What I might start doing is, what I might do is I might start doing VOD reviews on Patreon or something similar to that. So, like, I still do VOD reviews for people to watch, but there's behind, like, a paywall because, I mean, you know, I see value in doing them. They can be quite energy intensive to do, but I'm trying to think about doing different things, you know, trying to make actually a bit more of a career out of it, you know? So what happened here? So this is what happened here. He got hit by the Morning Mist, and then those things hit him. Then what happened here? Did he just get hit by another one? What happened? And he just queued him. He just... What did we pause for? What did we pause for? He just... I mean, the guy just got hit by a skill shot, got bonked with a shovel. I mean, that's just Yorick Gaming. What are we pausing for? Thank you for the gift sub, by the way, to Omar. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Zareth. I really like this little horn section in the background. Oh, you sorted the cards to an eBay sale? Nice, cool. Right, on to the grubs. Monkey takes 1. And you can test. Second one down. Smite was used. They do get 2 out of them. Did they get the third? Xiaohao quick walk over to contest. He doesn't have Smite himself, though. ZDZ in top side. Gonna get the help of Xiaohao. Cube walking up. Does not have himself that much to work with because that flash was used before. The healing's not bad, but he doesn't have a flash to escape. Xiaohao, successful ult usage. Gets himself a kill on top side, and EDG are very far ahead now. 9 minutes in, almost 3,000 gold. WE, it's been a bit of a laning phase collapse from them, and besides that solo kill from Cube earlier. And even then, that cost him a flash, which he couldn't use to escape this one now. Of course, if EDG win this, we go to a third game. I tell you what, though, folks, I am missing Blind Pick Game 3. I feel like Fearless Game 3... I know that technically Fearless is meant to be at its peak in later games of the series. I talked about this on a couple of podcasts now at this point. I'm starting to not like last games of it. No, I know. I'm continuing to not like last games of a series. And in Demacia Cup, Blind Pick Game 3 was actually very enjoyable to watch. I enjoyed the mirror matchups of Orianna, you know, Jace jungle versus Jace jungle. It allows us to see the permaban champions and see why they are permaban, for one. And it means that actually you get like a high power Game 3 or Game 5. I don't think Game 3 needs blind, but I think it does. I don't know. I just get to Game 3 of a series and I'm like, well, I want to see the more powerful stuff. I don't want to see low-powered last games of a series. You know, if you're on even footing, I want to see what both teams think is the best thing that they can put out in a draft. Monkey will find out that red buff ward, so you'll be able to find out that control ward. Personally, I just think that blind pick is... Look, if you're going to go for entertainment factor for Fearless Draft, why not just go the full way, you know? Ults up towards the top side. Cube used himself that flash to get the solo kill. And he's not had a flash now to survive 2 successive ganks. He's surviving fairly long time. He still goes down. That 1 kill doesn't feel worse now, does it? ZDZ walks up. He gets a plate. You know, Angel loses some time in mid lane and a plate to Monkey, actually, who ends up claiming that one. But poor Cube flashed for that 1 kill. He did trade it with ZDZ, but now he's not had any defensive ability to keep himself alive against the ganks from Xiaohao and an Angel. Leave happy in bot side with those early assists. Of course, Palkia is the true carry. He's got himself a giant spell, man. I love that he has himself a giant spell. Level 6 can work on towards about... Well, Leaf's not walking over, really. He's trying to animation cancel to bait out the spell Shieldu. And he does. Well, no, he didn't quite. But he did end up winning the mind game anyway. Movements around the map with 10 seconds until Dragon Xiaohao. Oh my god, Karis. Flip whack? Not quite. Not quite. Xiaohao could have flash ulted that into the combo. Jumping on towards Leave. Ghost pops immediately, about out of mana. Monkey. Hey, Macaria, how's it going? We're enjoying ourselves some LPL over here. Hope you're doing well. What were you streaming today? How are things? Appreciate the follows as well. Dragon taken by EDG. Nice and easy. It's a second dragon for there. I'm not going to lie, folks. This is feeling like a Game 3 angle. The classic Jinx. Cancelling the recall with the ult. Thank you for the follow there, Patchy. Leave, continuing to push in here. Storm Razor first. Interesting. Yes, that is an item again. By the way, Storm Razor added back into the game. Hungarian LCK gang arrived. Oh, did LCK just finish? I saw that Tier 1 were very dominant in that Game 3. Saw a Doran triple kill, which was cool. Oh, don't mind the stutters in the stream, by the way. There's no clean feed. The clean feed's going... The clean feed for LPL is in a weird spot right now, so we do actually have some stutters. It's just the way that it is. We hope that it'll fix itself over time, but... you have to be prepared for occasional nocturne ults, effectively. Q, trying to trap in ZDZ in the cage. Not that you really want to fight a Mega Gnar that much. Cube's down a lot of gold now. Just to recap you on this game, folks. Effectively, you'll notice that Rel has 3 kills. Yeah, there were some bot lane shenanigans where... Leave managed to land effectively 2 free ball Jinx traps onto first Yao Yao and then a minute later onto Monkey, which led to kills. But Palkia picks up all of those kills. So we now, oh my god, guys, we have a Protoplasm first Rel. This is great. This is great because one of my issues with pro supports when they get fed is they still go towards the typical build. I think if you're really fed as a tank support, go for like a tank item. You know, become someone more powerful individually. Now what this means is that if Palkia jumps in first, it's harder for them to die. And they can actually get maybe a second rotation off in best case scenario too now. You know, Protoplasm, for those of you who don't know, it's basically a tank lifeline item. It gives you somewhat of a Mundo ult at low HP. And then what happened on the top side was Cube flashed for a solo kill under ZDZ's turret, but then also died in the attempt, and then died twice after because he didn't have flash. Protoplasm may as well be a support item. It's cheap enough, for sure, but saving up for the Giant Spell can sometimes be a bit of a pain. I know you can do it as the thing anyway. Angel, hang on, sees Karis there. He thinks he's alone. He's not alone. He has Flash, I just don't think it'll matter. Karis, yeah, he's flashing out now. I just don't think this matters, does it? Jigsaw comes down, goes wide, it won't matter. He'll die all the same. The flash wasted by Karis there, thinking he was alone. But there was a rock waiting around the corner. CDZ happily takes down top lane turret as well. EDG, a much better early game for them now. Angel will walk out to safety, riding that wall, uses the ultimate. Buys a bit of Monkey's time. Leave and About trading off in the mid lane. For those of you who don't know About was on Genji Global Academy last year, so he's come from the LCK CL in the Genji system. And he got a player of the game last game for a Varus game, which was very impactful. It was a very good game for EDG up until the big objectives happened. The potential shove, well, there's no shove back here. Good flick back, flashes away. Can Monkey just full on die? Well, he's certainly going to try. Flashes forwards for the heart steal, and he has a lot of healing. Teleport coming through from Not. I think Monkey just walks it out. Xiaohe coming down. Ult in 5 seconds. Who does he go on to? ZDZ might end up taking him down. And indeed he will. They split, divide, and conquer. Karis slides away and fight. Please give him another kill. Please give Palkia another kill. It would be so funny. He's walking away. He's had enough. Bloodthirsty enough. First assist of the game for the Rala. Xiaohe picks up the kill. Oh my god. Does it count as PvE as if you fight Malphite? Isn't it PvR? Player versus rock. Player versus rock gaming. You know, the things I do for comedy. Cube punting away at that turret. Jinx ult was being used technically for wave clear there. It does go wide. It's 2 in a row now, which he's missed. Xiaohe didn't use his ult, by the way. Cube has flash. Turret's down. He's dead, I think. Yeah. Cube sticks around too long. This is something we know about Cube. He will often overstay in a lane and die. Loving you on Summoning Insight? Well, thank you. It's been, you know, I vaguely grew up with Summoning Insight now, you know. I guess I was a little old for that, but, you know, it's something which inspired me in my esports journey with Monty and Thorin Wright, being able to actually be on the show. I mean, I was on there as a guest, to actually be the actual co-host, but that was a very special experience. I hope that people are enjoying it. Hoping that it's good content for you all. And now next week, we'll actually have, you know, games to talk about, you know? Good stuff. Herald started up. EDG are getting everything here. They're getting everything. They haven't lost a tower yet. They've taken two dragons, taken grubs, taken heralds, a bunch of kills. Everything's coming up EDG. It was a bit of an embarrassment that game one, I'm not going to lie, folks. They had a really good pick onto Monkey before both big objectives spawned in Dragon and Baron. They chose to go towards Baron, and they lost the ensuing 4v5. Still making it fun, though? I appreciate it. Potential walk towards Palkia, but how do you kill the hyper tank, full tank Rel? Haha. I mean, he's really fed. What can I say? He's actually really fed. Briefcase hits him. In another world, he would have been dead if he didn't have so much gold as a tank support. Yeah. Please send help. I was forced to sit through 28 minutes of Zeka Azir. I also heard Kanavi had a bit of a rough one. I guess we'll be the judge of that. Well, I'll watch it again later. I say watch it again. I'll watch this. Yeah, I've been catching up after. Battle Herald gets them passive out of Mundo. Some gold there. Objective Bounty was taken by Cube. Talia walking up there doesn't have teleport. Would have to use ultimate to get back to the play. Monkey's passive still down. Hang on, Monkey's not safe here. The traps are very threatening. Monkey gets the Lulu ultimate. He's sticking around the play for quite a long time. Saves himself somehow. Didn't have the flash for that play. Walking forwards. Xiaohe could ult. Remember, that Malphite ult is just being held. Cube came down to the play, leaving that side lane. Talia in with the wall now. Dragon is available. Would be third dragon for EDG. Very threatening, that. 2 dragons is a promise, 3 is a threat. 4 is the actual win condition. Karis looking for a sweep potentially. Positioning aggressively. Xiaohe walking up. Walking ward. cheese wheel traded for Cleaver. Angel flying in, going straight into melee range of Monkey and ZD and Cube. Angel, my dude, that's not really where you want to be. He lives for now, but not for long. The ricochet takes him down. Oh, that you want better than that. Carry sweeps over. He's getting ulted immediately. Flipped back by the full carry Rel, who's probably not long for this world either. The big objectives are working out better for Team WE. They can't quite get the damage down. Mega Gnar charged up, jumping in, looking for the Mega Gnar, gets the kill onto the enemy jungler. Dragon goes over to the side of WE. EDG, can they get enough out of this Jinx? I'm not sure they can. Cube walks forward for the extra slow, the Morning Mist and the Maiden trying to get the bits of damage, can't quite finish it off. EDG once again not making it work around the big objectives. These objectives are the death of them. What a disaster game. EDG, I don't trust them around Dragon and Baron. I don't trust them. Look, walking into that fight, they had so many objectives, so many advantages, right? They definitely had advantages walking in. You know, Angel then goes melee range into a Mundo and a Yorick. My dude, that's just not the angle. Hop off early or choose a different one. We need better from him. And then ZDZ's trying to charge up the Mega Gnar. The wall cuts things off. I mean, Karis still takes a lot of damage, but leaves ultimates a little early for the full execute. A little close range too. ZDZ tries for the full crazy Mega Gnar. About ends up... Well, he does get stunned into there. The zap finishes him off, which ends up... Well, if the zap didn't kill him, that was disaster. It already was sort of disaster. Oh, Angel. Look, Angel is a player who actually has had some very high highs in the last few years. He has. But at the same time, some of his lows have been disaster for EDG. I think back to some of the games. You know, they had a 5-game series versus JDG where they were reverse swept out of playoffs. They almost knocked out JDG as in Nirvana said, hang on, spell shield's down. Oh, they're going forwards, about jumping backwards using both summoners, and now he's left into things. Good shove back onto Yao Yao. Palkia going in for the Magnet Storm. I'm not sure they have the damage right now, and indeed they don't. Karis flying forwards. That is a dead AD carry, and Angel, I don't think he's got enough. Mega Gnar is up and available again. Flashing forward, and he's polymorphed. He's polymorphed. Still gets about the AD carry. Taking his trade. ZDZ saving the fight. Even though Lulu did their damn best to keep their AD carry alive. Once again, WE getting the better of things. EDG losing leave. He had flash up, I believe, for that fight. Couldn't get away from the shuffle. He goes down. Clean feed dying very briefly. It'll be back. Nocturnal. Panic. Angel. Getting better damage that time, I suppose, but... damage is sort of done. EDG missed out on that dragon. This was the summoners used by About. Xiaohao then realized, well, if you're stuck in front of everyone, things are less good. And while the engagement Palkia looks okay, no damage in range. Difficult angle to flash that from the Jinx, actually. That was a good shove back through the rocks. If that didn't go through the rocks, I think he lives there, actually. Maybe gets another kill out of it. Dragon up in 2 minutes, Baron up now. Next big fight could lead to that. Going down. After the bot lane advantage, you would have thought that Leave and Palkia would have just completely ran away with this game. It's not been that easy, though. EDG, the big fights. The big fights. Not looking great for them. Cube becoming a bit of a sideline threat. 2-item Yorick's where you become an issue, really. It is where you become an issue. Both top laners have the empowered teleport now, reminder. The extra move speed, the shield. Leave on his way to the Lord Dominus regards. He does have the Stormrazor. Stormrazor matters. It does matter versus the Mundo because the slow can be enough self-peel in some cases with your W to give real threat. Leandri's on Angel also helping cut through the HP builders. So EDG, what's the plan now? Do they panic? Not gonna lie, they've lost a fair amount of gold in the last short amount of time. Azir turret. Put up in mid lane. Baron was started, but then again, with a tank jungler, you can kind of peel off of it whenever you want. EDG walking down towards Cube, and there goes Angel. Is there going to be a Baron response on the other side? Cube, can they catch him? Teleport coming down. Actually, no, they want to fight this. EDG's taking a ton of damage. I understand why. Azir coming down. He has plenty of damage. EDG's probably dead here. Goes Mega. Doesn't have flash to confirm an ultimate onto these two. Gets the slow. Does he get the stun there? We're zooming out because there's a fight on the other side. Monkey caught out. If the jungler goes down, then that's another situation altogether. Meganar used. Monkey caught out still, but the Wild Growth is put in. Teleport behind them from the Yorick. And I wonder whether EDG have messed up around the late game again. Xiaohao, he's getting some healing coming through. I don't know if it'll be enough. Indeed, it will. He'll be safe. EDG lose one in a play that they started. Xiaohao does have ult. He doesn't have the HP to use it now. He needs to heal off of Krugs. That's why he's going up there and leaving the scene of the crime. Gold lead is now gone. Dragon available. I don't think EDG can fight it. EDG, what has happened? The late game is just not good enough from them. WE so much more clutch. Cube and Karis responding well to the Talia ult shown in bot side. Do you think there should be a Talia skin where she just throws mini Malphites? I think that'd be funny. What are you watching? You're watching Nirvana. Wait, no, this is Perseverance Gaming. So for those of you that don't know the LPL format for this year, we have 3 groups which fight off against internally. So we have Group Ascend, which is your best teams, Group Pieces of Perseverance, which are your middle teams, then Group Nirvana, which are your bottom ones. This is our middle teams. What are they doing? That's a great question. They're playing League of Legends, I'm told. But yes, we should get Talfight. Wonderful. Just throws mini Malphites. Passive out of Monkey. He's at 3 items. Heartsteel giving him some extra damage from that HP. Appreciate the follows, by the way, again. This is effectively, my job. Very cool if you can drop a like or a follow if you're enjoying the content in this gameplay, or also wondering what the heck is happening. Angel flies in, gets that wall down. Monkey taking damage. They go onto the jungler, and the jungler's dead! There's no smite! There's no smite! Oh, EDG, is just the fight which they need. Sweep goes onto, goes on to Leave. Leave can't get himself out into the plate. Good Meganar gets onto Karis, so that carry for carry down. Xiaohao decides, screw this, I'm taking the Baron. Kills the jungler, gets the objective. EDG walk out, losing the AD carrier, but taking 2 down and the Baron. Okay, so WE, it's their turn to, I suppose, mess around and find out. Xiaohao, credit to him for saying, jungler's dead. I'd rather just take the objective, which is really low HP. I hope we get a replay. Because Monkey gets sections off from the team. He does have flash. Could he have gotten out of this play? He's trying to focus on it. The passive was down. Gets ulted. I think he thinks he was safer than he was. Karis. Flash is trying to catch both carries. Only gets 1. That was almost game-saving from Karis. Forces both flashes out of both carries using his own. Very nearly gets both. Very, very nearly. I mean, you can't blame this game on Karis, I don't think, folks. Karis actually been pretty significant in this game so far. Clean feed stuttering again. Again, apologies for that. Can't really control it, sadly. Turret goes down. Baron buff being used well by EDG to give them presence on the map. Angel has his ultimate in a few seconds to throw into the play. Has a death cap. That's good damage, actually. Onto Palkia. The full tank carry Rel. Again, Rel doesn't exactly retain identity as a tank that late into the game. Look at that. I mean, you see how much damage the ricochets do. Enchantalus Jinx is so sad. The thing is, it was good in the early game. And what it can do is just follow up onto the engage. Your ultimate can sometimes be enough. You can see effectively, if you're not stood on the Talia rocks, Azir is really threatening you. Really, really threatening. There isn't that much engage from WE. But the sweeps from Karis can really hurt. So right, hang on. The ultimate coming through from Civic, going on to ZDZ. He does have an ult threat. He's trying to jump over the wall. Can he get there in time? Yes, just about. Sterek saves his life. Very close, though. Playing with the edge of his HP bar there. Does not have teleport. Civic ult down. Passive out of Monkey. Tanky enough to walk it off. Mundo has become such a big champion in the season. He's actually getting towards kill threat here, by the way. I was actually wondering whether they could Malphite ult, Jinx ult, and kill him. But yeah, last year we had a 2-group system in LPL. Now we've added in a 3rd to try and 1, cut down on the amount of games, and 2, effectively punish team, well, give a threat to teams which aren't doing well to say, get better. You can't just sit there at the bottom of the table for forever. We had a series from OMG earlier in the day, which was their first LPL games in 7 months. OMG had not played an LPL series since May of last year. Ridiculous. They played in LDL, they played in the Master Cup, but they hadn't played an LPL proper. No anti-heal. They've actually had enough damage anyway. Yeah, the anti-heal would be really nice, in fairness, it would be. You'd expect someone to get it. Fight around the mid lane, maybe. Palkia takes a chunk from Monkey. Dragon is available. Mountain Soul, of course, would be the prize. Well, not for this one, but for the one after. Leave. Hit by a slow leave. You gotta be careful with that Sivir. Pop Redemption put down, and Leave's caught again. He doesn't have Flash. He doesn't have Ghost. Good damage onto Monkey. Carrots goes for the shuffle and manages to get a whole bunch of them. Leave goes down. The Jinx has not been very effective this game, and this time Angel goes down. Karis is carrying WE with these sweeps. Their only form of engage. About will find a rock, take a chisel to it, and Xiao Hao. This is Xiao Hao's been. Cube will walk down midline. This might be the game. It might be the series. EDG, the big objectives have not been their friend at all. The early game's going in their favor, but the objectives are just not their game today. WE may well finish us off for a 4-game day. It will at least be the inhibitor. 10 seconds left on Leaf. I think they can do it. I think they can. Despite the early game domination from Edward Gaming, despite them coming in as favorites, WE apparently do not give a damn. Much more clutch, much more effective in the team fights around the objectives. Team WE send EDG packing. It's a short day for us today here at the LPL, folks. There is no official broadcast anymore, so you're left with little old me, Sam as well, helping us out on this channel. If you have enjoyed LPL today, please drop a like, please follow, please subscribe, and also please let people know that we're live. Post about it on Twitter, on Reddit, on your social medias if you can. If you like the clips. Supporting us is the way to keep us live, basically. It's hard to keep yourselves in work in esports right now. If you have enjoyed this, we're very happy to have brought you this entertainment. Hey, Nightstar, great to see you as well. Long time no see. Doing well. Team WE. I didn't really think they would be the match of EDG today. They proved me wrong. Karis, solid series from him. We appreciate you all. My name is Nymaera. I've been casting the LPL since 2023. I have cast thousands, legitimately thousands of LPL games. Hated both EDG drafts. I think they were playable is the thing. This is the last series today. Yes, this is the last series today. Tomorrow we'll have another set of series, as tends to be the way of things. What have we got on tomorrow? Tomorrow is another 2-series day. BLG versus Anyone's Legend tomorrow, folks. And JDG versus IG. Oh my god, tomorrow is a banger day. Have I ever casted NLC? Yes, I cast NLC back in 2022 and 2021. That was, in fact, my first studio gig. When I first moved to Berlin, they had a studio for NLC out in Spandau. Yeah, I came from the UK amateur scene and then also the LJL scene as well. That's where I started my career. I did LJL as a bootleg broadcast, and I did UKEL, UKLC, and then NLC as well. I did UK University Esports, so the Newell and then UEM. Wait, you know me? You knew me from there? That's really cool, Seno. It's really cool. Yeah, so I was casting there back before NLC was a content league. Which, I mean, it's very entertaining right now. But yeah, we had a really good time. Funnily enough, that year of NLC, we had Sam, myself, Jamada, Goldborg, Troublelink, Hiprain, Artron was on there as well. And we had We had some really cool casters. Those are the ones that you would have heard of, I suppose. Viperoon was the other play-by-play as well. You knew me from Gam Girls? Hell yeah. The thing is, they were like not crazy far off because, you know, gender is an anathema for me. But, you know, they weren't crazy far off with that tweet. But yeah, you know, I love me some NLC. It's the region which I got my start in. You were Ruddy up. Oh shit, cool. Because yeah, Jake's a friend. Jake's a friend. I've been around since the start of Jake's career. He guested onto NLC actually the 1 week. Yeah, I would consider myself a Ruddy fan. I appreciate what they do for the scene. Well, folks, that's gonna do us here for LPL today. I guess we'll stick around for the interviews. Why not? Why not? We'll stick around and then we'll raid over to someone. Yeah, NLC post loss. The problem is last year, from what I've heard, folks, NLC spent a lot of money trying to cash in on the Lost Returns wave. What that meant was they spent a lot of money and they lost a lot of money. They didn't actually gain any money. They ran 3 arena events. Their operating costs for last year are probably running into several €100,000. I reckon they probably spent €300,000 on production costs last year. I reckon. And I don't know how much money they got back, but I can't imagine it's a lot, folks. I can't imagine it's a lot. And I think now, basically, it wouldn't surprise me if leagues are just collapsing under that kind of spending now. It wouldn't surprise me. And what that means is that they're probably just working on just like duct tape and a dream. This is very much going to be bootleg broadcast, kind of, well, not bootleg broadcast, but I wonder whether they start exploding now, really. Oh, Natty, yeah, I know Natty, yeah, he was playing for Ruddy. Wait, Natty Nat, also known as Best Rengar World or DJ Khaled of League, is a 6'8", 120 kilos of pure muscle, all-natural, 1922 LP peak Europe West rank 1, 80% win rate challenger player. To put it simply, he is him, Ruddy up. Don't you mean Korean? Korean rank 1 as well. Guy's crazy. The thing is that the Rengar player I knew from NLC way back was Icy Gale. Icy Gale, he was like the Rengar top player, but they killed Rengar top with the Bush changes to top lane. Like, you can't really play that anymore because Rengar top was like, it was like in specific situations insanely powerful, and yeah, not anymore really. Dreaming of hitting black on the revenue sheet running esports is crazy. I know, it's crazy. Yeah, esports just doesn't have a return on investment. And that's the problem that we're running into, right? Because, you know, I've been on LEC for a couple of years, been on LPL for a couple of years. We've got an interview, so we'll listen to that. But, you know, basically everywhere's cutting back on costs.
我是主持人泱泱。首先恭喜西安 WE 获得了本场比赛的胜利。我们邀请到的是 WE 的上单选手 Cube， 欢迎，先跟大家打个招呼吧。
大家好，我是西安 WE 战队上单选手 Cube。
欢迎！也再次恭喜你们获得了本场比赛的胜利，意味着西安 WE 在主场拿下了新年新赛段的首胜。首先跟大家分享一下心情和感受吧。
现在赢的肯定就挺开心的吧，因为之前其实怎么讲呢，就其实没有预想到今天会这么轻松吧。
你感觉比较轻松是吗？
对，
趁热打铁，那就赶紧问一下刚刚最后那一把吧，因为 Q 说感觉比较轻松啊。最后一把其实，在我们上帝视角看，算是一个翻盘局嘛。那前期当对方建立了一些经济优势的时候呢，你们选择了去拿虫，那个时候对方很聪明的去针对你的发育，但是你们在劣势的情况下，在第三条小龙找到了机会，那一波是怎么样配合？
第3条小龙的话，就是感觉是对面给了点机会吧，然后我们抓住了，就拉波打完就感觉能赢了吧。
Yeah, basically Nightstar, I got given great feedback the entire year, but sadly no spot on LEC this year. Sucks.
而今天看起来是有惊无险的，就是在大龙那一波出现了掉点，你觉得那一波是一个什么样的问题呢？
那一波就是我们说好了想抓大龙，逼他们来打团吧，但是我们的配合出现了一点问题，就其实不是影响特别大吧。
影响不是很大，确实最后还是拿下了胜利。当时你觉得是哪个沟通的点出现了问题？应该怎么样去提升一下，在后续的比赛当中？
当时就我们 就我们打野想让辅助给他大招吧，然后没有给上，然后导致打野被秒了，所以那波打头了。但这种其实都感觉还好。
是因为是无伤大雅的，只是一个沟通上，在我们的训练过程当中，如果多多的去配合的话，可以缓解这样的一些沟通的差池。那简单也聊聊第一把吧，因为第一把你们鏖战了38分钟嘛，也是在阻止对方拿电龙魂的那一波找到了一波机会。当时 Poke 做得很好，是怎么样去沟通和配合的呢？
因为我们维鲁斯玩的比较多吧，然后就知道该怎么poke，所以就会的。
还是把平时训练的东西在赛场上给打出来了哈。那现在因为也是在我们的这个新赛段新版本啊，有非常非常多的变化，大家也讨论了非常多。想问一下 Cube， 觉得哪个变化对于上单这个生态位的影响比较大呢？
感觉这版本上单其实没什么变化，感觉跟之前差不多。
差不多吗？你觉得这个分路任务有没有对于上单会有一些提升？比如说重要性啊、战术地位的提升？
其实没什么提升吧，因为感觉没那么容易的事情。
好吧。那最后一个问题，因为每年在新赛段开始的时候呢，大家都会对于未来有一些美好的期许和展望，所以很好奇 Cube 选手对于新赛段的目标和感想是什么呢？
就是比去年好一点。
比去年好一点，有没有一个具体的一个设定？再往前冲一冲。
对，就比
像我们的
去年更好。
坚毅组嘛，对不对？好的，那以上就是我们本场比赛赛后采访的全部内容，也再次感谢 Cube 来到我们的赛后采访，期待 WE 在未来更多精彩的表现。感谢大家来观看我们的赛后采访，接下来我们把画面交还给解说席。
Well, okay, that was an interview there from WWE. I suppose we'll end it there then, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, the show will end here. And if you're watching on Twitch, we'll go radio over someone. Not super impressed with WE. WE's early game wasn't great. Their laning was pretty ass. They were just better around objective fights. I don't even think their drafts were that good. I mean, that last draft relies on Karras doing mega stuff. And he did. He did. But, more steady than last year. Well, that's sort of what you get with not having Vampire, who is very, very spiky, both positively and negatively. Occasionally gives you huge upsides, occasionally gives you huge downsides too. Okay, we're gonna stop the YouTube stream now. We'll do that thing where we go right over to someone else. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. And a reminder, if you enjoyed what you saw today, please drop a like, a follow, subscribe. If you have a favorite clip from today, think about posting it on Twitter or Reddit. Tag us. We don't have taggers, but you know, it makes a difference. It does. It's really hard to be a small streamer in LoL Esports because, let's be honest, pretty much everyone who watches streamers in League watch Cadril or someone like that. And that's really cool. And, you know, he absolutely deserves everything. I love the guy. He's great. But also it makes it really hard to exist as other streamers in the same space because, yeah, we're not big. But the way you get to that point is you go viral somehow, some way. And yeah, we hope we can be that sometime. We hope we can be that sometime. All right, folks. Appreciate you all.